Hello, second graders, and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about cycles and organisms. So, to start, we're going to talk about cycles. A cycle is a set of events that is repeated. Cycles can be short, lasting a few days or weeks, or they can be long, lasting months or years. The seasons are an example of a cycle. The sets of events are different seasons, so the sets of events are spring, summer, fall, and winter, and the seasons are sets of events that are repeated once every year. So every year we have spring, summer, fall, and winter. Each season is its own event, and they're all repeated once a year. An organism is a single plant or animal. For example, your pet is an organism, and the trees at the playground are organisms. We know that a cycle is a set of events that is repeated. Life is a period or the period of time between when something is born and when it dies. So a life cycle is a common set of events that an organism goes through in its life. So its life cycle is the set of events it goes through from the time it's born to the time it passes away. A great example of a life cycle is our own life cycles. So every person is born, they grow into a child or young adult, they mature into an adult, and then they continue to age until they grow old. So every human has the same experiences in their life, right? Or they go through the same cycle. Every human is born, every human grows into a child and a young adult, then they mature into an adult, and then they continue to age until they grow old. Another example that we are probably familiar with is the life cycle of a butterfly. Every butterfly starts life off as a little egg that's attached to a leaf. When the egg hatches, a caterpillar is born. The caterpillar eats lots of food until it grows, or it continues to grow and become a bigger caterpillar. So it eats and eats and eats until it becomes a large caterpillar. When it is large enough, it hangs upside down on a leaf and builds a pupa or chrysalis. They're two words for the same thing, a pupa and a chrysalis. So it builds the pupa or chrysalis around itself, and then it stays inside of the chrysalis and undergoes a really big change. So inside of the chrysalis, what happens in here? Inside of the chrysalis is where a caterpillar changes into a butterfly. It's hard to understand how a caterpillar can go into a chrysalis and turn into a butterfly, right? But the caterpillar goes through a lot inside of the chrysalis. It actually turns into a goo. So if you cut a chrysalis open at the right time, the only thing that would be inside is goo. And so it goes in as a caterpillar, builds it around itself, it turns into a goo, then from the goo, it turns into a butterfly or grows into a butterfly. Near the end of the chrysalis stage, the chrysalis becomes clear and brittle like we can see in the picture here. This allows the butterfly to break free when it is ready. When the butterfly is ready, it breaks free from the chrysalis. It spreads its wings and lets the breeze dry them off. Once the wings are dry, the butterfly is set free or is free to fly away and lay its own eggs. So we can see in this picture here, we can see where it starts to break out, it breaks out more and more, then it hangs on the outside of the chrysalis. This is to let its wings dry, because if it had wet wings, it would be too heavy to fly, right? So it stays there for at least a couple hours and lets its wings dry so they're dry and it can fly off. So to review, first the butterfly is an egg. The egg hatches into a caterpillar. The caterpillar eats and eats and eats until it grows into a larger caterpillar. Then it builds a pupa or chrysalis around itself. And once it's inside of the chrysalis, it changes into a butterfly. It emerges as an adult butterfly. So to review everything, life is the time between when something is born and when it passes away. A cycle is a set of events that are repeated. And a life cycle is a common set of events that is repeated between the time of birth and death. So thinking back to the butterfly example, the stages that a butterfly goes through between the time it is born and the time that it passes away is called its life cycle. So everything that it goes through between the time it's born and the time it passes away, it's called its life cycle. All the stages that it goes through are its life cycle. And we can think of our own life cycles that way too. First, we're babies, then we grow into children and young adults, and then we grow older or age until we become old. So I hope you all loved learning about life cycles and organisms. And from all the second grade teachers, we miss you all so much, and we hope that you're doing well and staying healthy and safe. And thank you for watching. I will see you guys next time.